Hello, welcome back to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel and I am an RC-based homeschooling mom to 3 boys. And today I was going to walk you through a lesson from my McGuffey spelling packets. So I made spelling packets from grade 1, maybe I should have said level 1 to level 6. And if you're an RCer and if you're doing school year-round, like you'd probably go through those levels much faster than like 6th grade, right? You could get through them in like by 3rd grade or whatever, depending on your kid. Anyways, so I've been selling these for a little bit on my TPT store and kind of tweaking the activities. I wanted them to go from easier, easy words and simpler packets. I tried to make it so hopefully they could read the instructions on their own, although I know sometimes it's hard, but I color-coded them by the day, and I was shooting for the packets to be as independent as possible, although, early on, we have to do some hand-holding. So I thought I would just introduce you. This is my son William's spelling folder. This looks like that. And I was going to show you what's inside. And then I thought I would walk you through the first lesson. So the lessons do progressively get a little bit harder through the levels. And I'm trying to build up some skills that they'll need in general for academic success. And I just had found that spelling is a really good place to hone in on some research skills, some technicalities, some vocabulary, some like greater understanding. It's a good place to like coalesce skills and all under the subject of spelling. Okay, and I've got his flashcards. So my spelling packets, I made fully, like the entire year's worth of spelling words. I made the flashcards for them. So this is how I have them organized. It's just in one of my laundry. You see my laundry sheets? they come in this box. I save it, and I just use sticky notes that I like cut into thirds to divide them up by lesson. And so I just have to take the lesson out, and I print 2 of each word. Can you see this? I feel like my light, hold on. There. I'll give you an overview of how I lay out their spelling folders, and this is something that they can replicate, then they can change out their stuff, they know how. And then maybe I'll do some comparisons of between like year 1 and year 6, so you can see how far they come within those levels. Okay, I wanted to give you a little peek into the spelling program. So I keep my spelling book close by, and this is how I have them set up their folder. I've got extra things in there. I have them just clip in their current lesson. I have them clip it into their folder, right? And so he's currently on level 2 of the packets, and we print out 2 of each word so we can play memory, and also so we can practice well, I'll talk about that one later. Anyway, so that's in there for you or for them. Now this is something kind of separate that we do, but I wanted to show you, I just pulled a couple packets to show you some examples. So this is for McGuffey spelling packet grade 1. So on the first day, so you're going to have, they all come, you have your word list with them, right? And then as I go, I just highlight which one I'm on. So the most recently highlighted one is whatever one I'm on. And then we read them together, and we point out any similarities we see, or just things to note, like am, and, as, right? Am. These are all short vowels, right? And CVC words. And so this is a good time to talk about what are consonant sounds and vowel sounds. So you may have already talked about that during your early phonics, but recap it. And I'm making notes, and I probably write the diacritical marks, right? I even write consonant, vowel, consonant. I may say, these are all, I notice, closed syllables, right? You know, closed syllables have short vowels, right? So CVC or VC words can have short vowels. Anyway, so we just go over that really quick. And then we go, I've got some spelling patterns listed here for you to refer to. Here's some extra stuff I think I was writing at some point. So the first word I think was an, right? So it says spell aloud as you write. So you say an, 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 right? You want them to do that for each word. And then maybe take your list, your card list, flip them over, and then you play, memory, right? I mean, you'd lay them out in a grid, and that's day one. And you just reiterate whatever you talked about in the list when you pointed out patterns that you saw and like things that stood out to you, right? So yeah, year one's pretty easy, but there's a lot that they're learning besides actual spelling. You know what I mean? Like they're learning to read instructions. They're learning to pace themselves and stay focused. They're learning to check their work, right? I do think that sometimes instead of having them copy the list from here, like the words, just, separate this out so you just have a single set of the words and have them copy from this. So they're just looking at one word so they don't get lost. Because I've had my sons sometimes look up here at the wrong section or skip down or, that can kind of happen. So maybe keep them centered with just one word at a time. Flip it over, one word at a time. Flip it over, right? Okay, so that would be day one, level one. So William's actually he's on level 2, right? So this is actually his actual spelling folder for year 2. So you can see he's on lesson 10, and we introduced these words on the first day, like a Monday or whatever your first day is. I did some diacritical marks, crossed out the silent ones. We talked about how many syllables each word have. Looks like they're all one syllable words still. Vowel teams, right? Stuff like that. And I did make a note to myself what lesson out of the book these words came from, right? So I've been working from lesson 8 for my lesson 7, 8, 9, and 10, because it was a big lesson. I just think that's too many words for the kids to memorize. And you can always speed up later, but okay, so year 2, day 1, you introduce the words, right? Then you get your little stack out and it says line 1, normal. That just means just write the word. So wash, right? And then opposite hand. So I actually wrote that with my left hand. That's why it looks horrible. Wash, right? And then with your eyes closed, so have them put their pencil on the paper, close their eyes, and say wash. Wash, right? Okay, so, and then maybe play a game of memory and call spelling a day that day, right? Year 2 is still pretty easy. So here I skipped up to level 6, so I could show you how they're progressing. So now for day 1 on level 6, it's saying just write the word, right? By this point, they probably don't have to sound things out or spell things out, but they can if it helps them, right? Especially if it's a hard word that you're like really thinking about. But they have the words. I mean, they can copy the words, right? They can just have them here and copy them down. But now it says write and circle vowel sounds. So we had Sue, and all I heard was Sue, right? It's this long U, and UE, right? And if they suspect, like, that looks like a vowel team, right? Long U, right? They've got EU and UE, which both of those are in this list I saw, as in few, Europe, do, and fruit. Yeah, these are letter teams for any letter combination which stands for a single speech sound. And the combination, if the combination stands for a vowel sound, we call it a vowel team, even if there are consonant letters in the combination, as in IGH, one of the teams for long I. All of the above letter combinations are vowel teams. So vowel teams, it comes up again. Anyways, there's more reading about it. It's going to take too long to read, but if you want to have your kid read that, have them read that. And then it says, it put in the diacritical marks, right? It says the E is not making any noise, but the U is long. And it says write and divide syllable with lines. So Sue is just one syllable. So it's by itself. I just made a line, so it's by itself. But feudal was 2 syllables, right? Feudal. And if they're ever not sure, I do give them some syllable cheat sheets, the syllable types, syllable division patterns, syllable, don't divide, right? So you can look at this, but usually you can just hear it, feudal, right? And they said that the A was a schwa. It's not feudal, right? It's feudal, making the on the unstressed syllable. So I was checking it, and I went back to the book. I'm like, is feudal or feudal, right? And it turns out it is feud all. Just so you know, you can check it here. So, I mean, this isn't a test. This is not a test of their knowledge. They can look up all this information, right? A lot of this information will be actually in dictionaries too, right? So then at purity, I did that one. So you can just see how they go from just writing the word 3 times to diagnosing the vowels, to diacritical marks, and dividing into syllables. And sometimes they may want to maybe they're interested in a word, because some words they don't even follow English spelling patterns because they're not of English origin. So this dictionary of word origins, which I love, and I'll link it for you, the histories of more than 8,000 English language words. So it gives a history of them. I looked up feudal. It actually goes back to the word fee, which actually originally meant like cattle. But people who owned cattle were wealthy and had land, right? So then it also fee became associated with land and then money, right? We pay a fee. Is that interesting? Anyway, so then they would just go on to do, there's something similar. There's a progression of deepening of all of the daily activities. If this is helpful to you and you want me to go through like all the days and do like an example of each day, I will. The other thing I was going to show you, this is something that you don't have to do. It's like not, I don't think it's included with these spelling bundles, but it's something you can add on, and I think is really helpful is spelling word hangman. I think the cover looks like that when you buy it. But I put the pages into my little envelopes. And then this is how we play. And we do this at least once a week. So let's say you've got it's either your 2 kids can do this together, or like a parent and a kid. And someone's in charge, right? Somebody's drawing a card, right? So you'll flip them over, right? You don't show this person and the words roast, right? This is pretty obvious, right? So then you do right, there's the words. So on the other hand, the other person is over here getting their sheet ready while they're getting that ready, writing the spelling list. Was, wash, what, moan, blah, 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 right, roast. So they're all going to be on there so they can see what they're guessing off of. Then they start playing hangman. Is there an H? Nope, no H. So whatever. Eventually, you're gonna get roast, whether they get hung or not. I swear, even if I get the word right, William will be like, I'm gonna hang you anyways. He just always finishes the picture and hangs me. So then I go back and I build myself little stairs. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm still standing. I'm just gonna walk down. Once you get your word, okay, then you're gonna do your word study. So we're like, okay, cool, the word was roast. So I crossed off my list and I write roast, right? Part of speech. So this is something that they could actually work out in one of their assignments for the week. But they don't know, you can look it up, right? So roast is both a noun, actually, and a verb, right? And a simple definition of roast. I know this because William and I looked this up today. I don't know why I'm capitalizing so much, because it was one of his assignments. We looked up some definitions, but roast, right, is to cook. This is the verb, to cook with dry heat, right? Like an oven. We talked about like an oven, right? Or a barbecue, but it's not like boiling or steaming. We kind of talked about that. And then how many syllables is roast? Roast, it's 1. The vowel type, roast, right? I'm like looking at it, roast. It's a long O and a silent A. So that's actually a vowel team, right? Or maybe a vowel digraph, you might say. And I'll just usually write it O-A, right? Long O, silent A. The syllable type, roast, it's a vowel team syllable. And again, like for guidance on this, I have the syllable types, right? And vowel team or vowel digraphs is a syllable type. A syllable with a 2-vowel combination that has a long or short vowel sound. And then there's some of the examples. And look, there's our OA right there on the list. Right, so they can keep that out while they're working. So if this was a 2-syllable word, right? Like maybe the word was roasting, then this would be vowel for syllable 1. And then ing, this is kind of a long, this is a glued word, ing. It would be an I think we'd call that, how do you say I that sounds like an E? I don't know. And then the syllable type ing, we'll call it a letter team. Or maybe, no, we'll call it, sometimes we call these glued letters, right? But we recognize the ing, right? That's a thing, right? Ing. And then other spelling patterns that we see. I don't really see any other patterns, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you see root words. Sometimes you see you might be like, oh, there's a silent E, right? You didn't hear it, but you saw it, and stuff like that. So this helps us do a little word study, and you don't have to do all the words, but you just play back and forth a couple times. And I don't know, my second grader, we've been playing this, and we started playing it last year, and he loves it so much, and he just begs it. And what I like about keeping everything together in this little folder and doing the dry erase thing is this makes this portable, because we started out playing this on the chalkboard, but this is so much easier to take with you, like as you go. Anyways, the point of these is to get kids to study. So they're learning to spell these words, but they're also learning how to study. And they're learning how to break apart the words into their pieces. You know what I mean? Okay, so do you have any questions about day 1? I feel like I didn't really plan out this video. I just kind of opened things up and kind of started talking. So let me know if you have any questions I think I'd be more clear on. And otherwise, I will talk to you soon.